Nepal, even Sri Lanka, oscillating between these two both power centers. For the Northeast, this flux is not only about the security, but about also trade, connectivity, energy, and people-to-people ties. As neighbors grapple with turmoil and choices which we had seen over the month and the last week also, where does the Northeast stand and how can it turn challenges into opportunities is our part of discussion. This will be a 45-minute session. We'll love to wrap up around 35 minutes so that we can have some Q&A from the young minds and many other people which I can see, and because this is a very august panel. Let's start with the general, the big picture about the changing dynamics. You had seen Bangladesh, you had seen Sri Lanka, and you had seen Nepal. How are the recent shift in Bangladesh, Myanmar, and Nepal shaping both the security and economic future of the India's Northeast, sir?
Firstly, thanks to Pratidin Times for giving me this opportunity here. I think the Northeast borders is strategically extremely important for our country for various reasons, and more so in the changing dynamics that has been happening all over the globe in recent years. The regime changes in Bangladesh, the continued turmoil in Myanmar, as well as the recent regime change in Nepal has an impact in our country, but more so in the Northeast. Because if you look at the Northeast borders, firstly, they are porous borders. There has been traditional migration, which has at times caused social stress within some parts of the Northeast. We all are familiar with that. Another recent regime changes, coupled with the world geopolitical dynamics and the rising fundamentalism, which compounds the existing ethnic fissures within the Northeast and its neighborhood, makes the situation extremely complex. And this is further compounded by the unresolved borders and certain long festering insurgencies which has been going on in the Northeast as also in the neighborhood. So security is of prime importance because we all know that Northeast is the least integrated and one of the least developed areas in our country and in the neighborhood. And for developmental activities to take place, for Northeast to catch up with the rest of the country, peace and security along the borders as well as internally is sine qua non. So it's a mandatory requirement. Only then the developmental activities can take place. So we need to look at our borders. The disputed borders need to be resolved. The long-running ethnic insurgencies need to be resolved, and we need to find some sort of resolution for those insurgency movements. We need to look at our neighborhood in a more pragmatic and in a more nuanced manner, because any development in these states, these countries, particularly in Bangladesh, Myanmar, as well as Nepal and Bhutan and in China, definitely impacts the Northeast. We all keep talking about the vulnerable Siliguri corridor, which is the lifeline to the Northeast. The demographic changes that are taking place and increasing footprints of some of the inimical countries may at any point of time threaten to cut off Siliguri corridor. Whether physically or in a hybrid mode, that is something to be seen.
No, I have a specific question on that, sir.
Yeah.
I'll keep it for the thing because that's very important thing, because I remember you had said they used to spend sleepless night in Fort William for that 22-kilometer of corridor. I have a specific question. I'll follow it a little later.
Okay. I think for peace and development, we need to resolve the borders. We need to find some solution to the ethnic insurgency problems that are going on. And we need to also concentrate on the socio-economic development of this region. We need to focus on the infrastructure development, particularly in the border areas, so that the threats can be mitigated. We need to empower the border guarding forces so that the necessary action can be taken. And we need to make the border infrastructure smarter by incorporating AI and the other technological developments that are taking place all across the globe. I think I'll leave it for now. And
I'll come back to you, sir. Yeah. Thank you very much, General. First of all, I congratulate you for beating the Sunday traffic and reaching Dr. Mr. Singh and on time, because you almost missed it because of the traffic. Same question to you, sir. How this regime change and the tectonical change of geopolitics over the last few months around the South and Southeast Asia will have impact in the Northeast India, especially Nepal, Bangladesh, even Myanmar. Things are now all changing. I believe China has now stopped giving support to Northern Burma groups. So that is something interesting. And Myanmar is going for an election. So altogether, I would love to know your comment on the Northeast India's effect to these things.
So it's a very relevant question, because the Northeast, the states of the Northeast being surrounded by various countries. So there are international borders. So these borders serve as at the same time, the opportunities and the challenges for India in general and the Northeast in particular. So this is the one thing. And another thing, what we have been seeing in Sri Lanka and in then till day before yesterday in Nepal and in Bangladesh, the question here is what are the aspirations and the expectations of the youth populations. Because now what we see is that in many countries, especially in the countries around our neighborhood, what we have seen is that there is a lots of discontentment among the youth. There are problems related to employment, unemployment, particularly that affects lots of young people, lots of educated people. So as a result of that, what we have seen in, say, in Nepal and then as well as in Bangladesh also, many of these movements were all led by the young people, educated people. So likewise, in our northeastern states also, what we see is that there is a very similar, the situation in terms of the availability of employment opportunities, and also now the educated people, the young people. So there is this frustrations among the young people, and this frustration is also becoming a very important for many of the so-called insurgents, the movement in the region. So therefore, I am really concerned that what is happening in other part of say in Bangladesh or in Nepal will have some problem, especially because there are discontentment among the youth in the Northeast. So this is number one point. The number 2 point is that, say, our immediate neighborhoods like, say, Bangladesh, the problem that we have seen in the last, some months ago. So many of these problems will have repercussion in the Northeast. Say, when we talk about the trafficking of the people, the smuggling of the people, and also the issue of unauthorized movement of peoples. And also nowadays in, say for instance, in Myanmar, many of you must be aware of about lots of problem happening in that country. So as a result of that, because of lots of bloodshed and the violence, so many people are being displaced from that country, and many are coming to the northeastern states in Manipur or say in Mizoram and maybe in other states. So this is also again creating internal conflict. Say in the northeast also, since there are different ethnic communities, so our perceptions towards various issues always divides the peoples. So the issue of people coming into from Myanmar also or from Bangladesh divides the people of the northeast in one sense. At the same time, there are also, some people are also united. So this unites and divides, creates lots of conflicting situations. So this will have lots of problem for the, the northeast region. So
thank you, thank you, Mr. Singh.
आपको कई मैसेजेस आएंगे, गेट रिच क्विक ग्रुप्स का हिस्सा बनाएंगे, डबल रिटर्न्स की गारंटी देकर विश्वास दिलाएंगे। ये नकली है या असली, बाहर फर्क पहचाने।
कुछ इन्फ्लुएंसर्स रोज नई वीडियोस बनाएंगे,
अमीर बनने के शॉर्टकट्स बतावेंगे,
बड़े बड़े सपने दिखाएंगे, ये गलत है या सही।
भारत फर्क पहचानेगा और बनेगा देश इन्फॉर्म्ड इन्वेस्टर्स का। An investor awareness initiative by SEBI.
প্ৰতিবাৰে প্ৰভুজী সোণ পাপৰি হে কিয়?
কিবা এটা কথাটো আছে প্ৰভুজী সোণ পাপৰিত। ই হিয়াৰ হৈতে হিয়াৰ মিলন ঘটায়, সম্পৰ্কক মধুৰতাৰে ভৰাই। নাজানো কিমান অকথিত কাহিনীয়ে কথা কয়। প্ৰভুজী সোণ পাপৰি।